Hey guys, James Wilson Taylor here for Rock Sound. It's another of our video calls. We are catching up with everybody while we're all at home at the minute, and I'm delighted to say Mr. Machine Gun Kelly's on the line. How are you, man?
That's good.
Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Appreciate you doing this. We'll start this off in the way we've started them all off, which is to say, of course, I hope you and your loved ones, you're all keeping safe and well as you can be in this very, very strange year that we're having. And just generally, how's your lockdown been going for you, man? I see these lockdown sessions and everything. Looks like you've been keeping very busy these last few months.
Yeah, I'm not stopping, dude. I'm choosing. I think it's like you can go into a hole or you can go into a portal in this situation. I'm choosing the portal, so I want to ascend to something better.
Yeah, good attitude to have, man. I like these lockdown sessions, I gotta say, and it's nice to see the mix of stuff you're doing. I love the In These Walls with the PVRIS sample and everything. That's such a cool choice, man. Yeah. Yeah, what were the kind of challenges in putting those together? I guess it's got to be kind of difficult in a way to figure out how best to do it, particularly at the beginning of lockdown when you were doing it.
Yeah, I mean, I like to think that we set the standard for how to even like continue musicianship in lockdown sessions in the lockdown because, you know, I think Misery Business cover with me, Travis, and my friends, I think that was the first video to come out of anybody in quarantine being like, here's how we're probably going to deal with it. We're going to split the screen and you be where you're at, I'll be where I'm at. And this is how we're going to do it. And then from there, I saw it was, you know, getting this like, kind of like, whoa, we needed this, like entertainment's like at an all-time low right now in the quarantine, like movies aren't coming out, like content's not coming out, but we still want content. So then, I mean, the In These Walls thing was really cool because that sample isn't even from the actual song. It's from like, I think it's from a live version. It's like from a live, I think also too, it's from someone's cell phone. It's like a YouTube video that someone took on their cell phone.
No way. Wow. Yeah, that's crazy, man. Yeah, it works so nicely, though. It was cool to see Lynn's reaction to it as well. Like, she clearly thought it was sick as well. So it's a really, really nice mix to see that coming together. Well, let's talk about the album, man. It's imminent at the time of recording. It's almost here. Finally, Tickets to My Downfall. It's very, very exciting. I want to start kind of talking generally because, of course, you've already said this is very much a pop punk record, which I love. And I love that you've really gone for it and you've really worked across the genre and it really feels like a pop punk record. Talk to me about the musical inspiration points on that. Who were you citing from the past? What pop punk sounds were you looking to emulate within this record?
Obviously, I was a huge Blink kid, so and working with Travis, I kind of was like, you know, you want the secret sauce, and that comes from maybe, I don't know if it's like timing of the songs or like, I mean, some of those things that he was doing were so subtle that ended up being like what made a record so big. And like, I mean, I remember even on Bloody Valentine, we were like, we have the choice to either do a normal drum fill or like extend it to like a 4 to 8 bar drum fill for no reason. And like, that will be some spice on a song that like, I mean, we've been switching up the formats a lot of like what a standard song is. Like even like Concert for Aliens, I think it goes like verse, chorus, guitar solo, bridge, something. It was just a weird, like not stand. And then like, there is no final chorus. It's just like a repeated phrase outro. You know what I mean? Like they're really cool music aspects that I haven't got a chance to dabble in because the way that like things were, you know, presented to us, like this is how they need to be. It was so formatted and so boring. And like, I got bored with the same stuff. And I think listeners did too. That's why like, you know, this is kind of a relief because it sounds like a bunch of people in there jamming. Some of these songs on the album, I will say too, are literally jammed at the exact same time. Like the guitar was being played and the drums were being played at the same time.
Right. It's different energy when you do that. Different energy.
And recorded at the same time. There's a song called World War III. It's definitely the fastest tempo song of all of them. It's 59 seconds long. And that was played at the same exact time. Like it wasn't like you do the drums first, this is the guitar, next, you know, we'll layer bass after that. It was all like the exact same time, which is cool.
Yeah, proper band setup. Really feels like when you're in the room together, it's just a different vibe like that. It makes sense, man. Very, very cool. I'm glad you mentioned Travis, of course, because his influence is all over this record, absolutely. And what I love about Travis, and it's something I've spoken to with a lot of artists he's worked with recently, is that when he works with someone like yourself, it feels like more than a collaboration because he's got all those years experience. It almost feels like he likes to take people under his wing a little bit and kind of guide you and give you that advice. What was that working relationship like for you?
started out just he's my OG for sure. But then like obviously when we got in the studio 10 years later from us meeting for the first time, we're friends. So we were just like, oh, let's jam some stuff. Let's see what happens. And then I think like I was watching like documentary footage back of us recording it. And I mean, I guess just footage I recorded with my phone, but I like to record a lot and capture moments. And I saw that the second day that we got in with each other, with the first day was Bloody Valentine. And the second day we came with the title track, which is like this kind of unique, like musical piece to intro the album where it starts off slow, then the tempo picks up, then the key changes, and the tempo changes again. And it's just like, it was kind of like almost like My Chem / Queen combo.
It's a good combo.
Slash like, what is it like? I mean, I don't want to say rancid, even though there is a blatant Operation Ivy kind of homage on the record, but like, just like I don't know. I'd be curious to hear what people think about that title track, like where those influences come from. But he was super just like, you know, tempo and key wise, and like, you know, like I would have moments where I'd be like, no, my voice strains too much right here. Like we should like lower the key so that I can like, you know, like my voice can reach that, you know, height that you want me to. And he was like, nah, like the strain is the coolest part. Like just push yourself till you get it. And those little things, like when I listen to it back, I'm like, it's going to be very hard, probably impossible for me to do those live. Like I will have to like lower the key so that I can do it. But like on the day, like the record that lives forever, it's like, you know, I don't even sound like that, but that's me. But I don't even like naturally on my own right here with us like this hit those type of notes. But like that's the beauty of it, is when you hear it, you're like, yo, is this Machine Gun? Like,
right.
What is it? Like,
that's cool to be able to stretch yourself in the room like that, though. Yeah, I mean that's what you got to do, right? You got those moments, you may as well absolutely rinse them and really try those things.
You don't know that, so you have somebody being like, "No, you're gonna do that."
Yeah.
You always are gonna take like the, "Oh, I can't. Like I can't. You know, I can't do it. Like doesn't make sense. Like why? Like you know, whatever. Let's just lower the key and move on." And maybe it wouldn't have hit as hard if I would have lowered it.
Man, yeah, it's cool when you got someone like that who's got your back, and particularly when you know, like you say, you're playing in this genre that obviously he's lived in for so long, and it works so well. This is what I like, you know, is the fact that it is very different to your previous material, but it feels authentic. You're clearly a fan of the genre. You're clearly a fan of these artists, and you're giving it a go in a proper way. It's really cool. Do you feel that this is going to be where you live now, or at least for the foreseeable future in this world, pushing this area?
For the foreseeable future is a good way to put it. I mean, I think it'd be kind of injustice to just cut off one whole segment of my career, which, I mean, dude, this is a huge chunk. I mean, it's 4 albums and like 5 or 6 mixtapes of me just rapping my ass off. So it would be a shame to just be like, okay, peace out. That's not what's happening. I'm not switching genres. I'm more so just being like versatile. And I think it would also be an injustice to just be like, oh yeah, that was a sick, like classic pop punk moment, like that I was a part of. And like, that was fun. Peace out. Like, it just dipped from that too. It's kind of like the struggle right now, I guess, is being like, I mean, can this for the first time in musical history, like be done that someone like does 2 genres at the exact same time? Like,
I mean, well, you say that though, but even on the record, you know, you look at the track with Blackbear, for example, it's so clear how you've managed to blend elements of what you've done before into the new stuff. And that really works really well. I mean, was that a challenge to kind of find that balance in those moments?
I think it was kind of like, you know, that song with Blackbear, like it went through so many phases. I mean, that was the one song that I had done a year ago prior to meeting Travis, where it had a different chorus, actually, dude, it was a whole different tempo. The production was all different. And so we brought it to Travis and I was like, but these lyrics though, they fit so well with like the elements of what Take Us to My Downfall is talking about, where it's just like, these are like really niche situations that relate to masses, which is like kind of like having this, you know, weird tension between your girl's friend, you know, and being kind of like, are we having like a little thing? And like, you know, okay, I won't talk about it, but like, I definitely feel, you know, whatever. And that chorus was not the same. And then, you know, I brought it to Travis. He's like, yeah, lyrics are great. All this stuff's great. I hate the chorus. Like, let's, you know, the tempo isn't where we should be at. Let's like, you know, go here with it. And then I went in and I freestyled that whole, like, I swear to God, I never fall in love. That whole thing was kind of just like, I mean, he literally just pressed record and I was like, I swear to God, I'm not all this hard. And that kind of, that worked. So, I mean, it did take like, it took, you know, it took steps. And like, even Bloody Valentine, I remember, was a whole different drum pattern and a whole different key at first. And then it got to where it needed to get to. So, I mean, dude, I don't know. Most things were first take magic, but some things were like, yo, like, how do we also, because this is the part, people have been making great rock music and pop punk music even throughout this dead period of rock and roll and punk pop, you know, so like, there has been, but it's not there was like a ceiling put on that because of like hip hop culture rising so much and that being like what's streaming the most and that being, so it's like none of these people like figured out the formula to also snag this audience to then bring those type of streaming numbers. I mean, dude, you don't look at like a lot of those songs unless it is like Blink or the Killers or something like that and see 100 million plus streams on a pop punk song. We kind of found that out, and we kind of found that formula with this album, where it's like, no, like, these kids are going to listen to this type of music even if they don't know that they like this music. We're all speaking the same language. Yeah. And like, it just took the right bridge to have that gap like united, because I think like hip hop and pop punk is the same thing. Like, we're all dressing the same, we all do the same like activities, we all rebel, we all get high, we all, you know, don't know what's going on tomorrow, we all suck at life sometimes, we all, you know, like, those things are all relatable issues and content that haven't found a way to bridge with each other. And I think like, yeah, I mean, my past of that hip hop come up with my past of how passionate I was about, I mean, dude, all my performances, I mean, I look back at like 2010 performances of me, I was covering What's My Age Again.
Yeah, exactly.
I've been hinting at this for myself for a long time.
Oh, and I think that's why it works so well, is because, like you say, like, it is authentic. From you, it's very, very authentic. It feels right. It feels like a good fit because we have seen that from you in the past, and you've seen it grow with you musically. And it's interesting you say about hip hop as well, because that's something that your friend Yungblud has said to us on camera, how he feels that same way, and the coalition of hip hop and pop punk in that way. I know you've done a track with him that's not on the record, right? But is it in this vein, I take it, the thing that might come a little bit further?
3.
Oh, there's 3 tracks.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, 3 new tracks coming with him. Wow.
They're so fire. The ones that he and I had. And all the ones that he had, the reason why they weren't on the record wasn't because of like personal reason. It was because one had a feature that we're trying to blend together, which is really awesome. And I just listened to that song the other day for the first time, and it was like in a long time. And I was like, oh my God. I almost regretted not putting the energy in to figure it out earlier, because I wish this song was on the album. But it also is like, I would be foolish to think that I'm not going to release a deluxe version of this by the holidays, which also you would want a reason to come back and hear stuff. So like, I mean, I love when me and Yungblud do records together because they flow so well. I guess you wouldn't know outside of I Think I'm Okay, because I'm trying to think if we have any other records out together. I don't think so. I think it's just I Think I'm Okay. But that was just like, I mean, you see how that blended and sounds and works. The other records are no different. They're like just as big. They sound massive. I'm glad that we have something to re-release and re-spike, you know, the excitement around this album in a couple months.
Yeah, that's exciting, man. You guys are definitely kindred spirits on that, and definitely, I think, got a similar feeling in terms of how you approach that mix in the genres. It's very cool. The other one as well, you mentioned that is a collab that you've done that hasn't featured on the record yet. Maybe it'll appear in that same way, but Bert from the Used, right? You did some stuff with him?
Yeah, Bert is on the. It's like me, Bert, Yungblud, like that. That's one of the songs.
Sick. Oh, that's fantastic.
It's
Wow.
so hard, dude. Like, it's so because, dude, Yungblud sounds like a new version of Bert. Like their voices register in the same pitch and with that same like ferocity. Like they both can like do raspy on pitch screams, which is sick.
That's really exciting to hear, man. Yeah. That's the old school and the new school meeting right there, and that's very, very.
It's also like the best outro I've ever heard. And
oh, really?
Yeah, it's like that song's outro is like, I mean,
you have to hint at it now. Are we talking heavy? Is it a heavy outro, big drum outro, big guitar outro? You know, don't give too much away, but give me a hint.
In my opinion, it's like Travis's most unique drum. I don't want to say loop because he just played through the whole thing, but like it's his most like unique drum cadence I heard him play on any of the records. And the outro is just like, it's like the most like just like classic pop punk. Like, how did no one think to just go say it? Like, so how did no one think to just like say this before? Like, you know, it was like one of those things where I'm like, I'm so glad that this is on like our record. Like we can like, you know, it's just a bunch of woes, but it's the way the woes come in. It's just, dude, it's so hard, dude.
Oh man,
I think that was Yungblud that like freestyled that.
Oh wow, man, it's exciting. It's exciting to hear how hyped up for it you are as well. It's really, really cool to see, man. When
and that's not even on this.
Exactly right.
Yeah, so I'm already excited about the things that are coming after this. Like I am really just so pumped, dude.
It's a good way to be, man. It's a good way to be. Speaking on the album, we've got to mention the title as well, because obviously the track on there that you've named after, Why Tickets to My Downfall, why is that what sums up the record for you? During
that time, it was like I wasn't going nowhere fast, and I was kind of just like making a fool of myself, and that was ironically the most I ever saw people come around me. And I was kind of like, why? Like, I'm like killing myself right now. I'm killing my career. I'm killing my like dreams. Like, I'm like lost in this vicious cycle of like, you know, Hollywood gone wrong. You know what I mean? Like, I don't enjoy this. And why do I have so many friends right now? What's going on? Like, and there's nothing like, there's nobody like offering light at the end of the tunnel in this. It just seemed like they were just like crash, 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 crash. And so that was, and then ultimately, I mean, I was sitting at a table with my friend Charlie, and he was in the same position as me. I think we were just like on a bender for a long time, and he was just like randomly, I'm selling tickets to my downfall and everyone's buying them. And I was like, whoa, that's exactly how I feel. And then I looked at him, I was like, can I name an album after that? He was like, yeah, I don't care. I think like I went to the studio the next day. So this must have literally been in between Bloody Valentine.
Oh, no way.
The second day, which is like, wow. It must have happened. The title must have happened between the first and second day recording the album, because when I think about it, the second day we recorded the title track, which is Tickets to My Downfall. So it's like, that's kind of crazy. Like Bloody Valentine's the first song we did. And then to just we were at a bar and be drinking, and he just says like this thing, and I'm like, oh yeah, like that's literally exactly how I feel and what's happening. Can I use that? He's like, yeah. And I went the next day, and everything just fell under that. I don't think I've ever went into an album, by the way, with the title, which is sick. This is my first one. I've never like went in and been like, this is what I'm gonna call it.
Wow. Yeah, it fits, man. Fits very well. That's nice when you have that right at the beginning as well. Something to kind of hang it all around. That's very, very cool. Definitely helps in that way. Couple of quick things before I let you go, man. First of all, I mean, we keep mentioning Bloody Valentine. Let's talk about it, because congratulations, what a huge success. I mean, it seems to, particularly in the US, just gone huge. Congrats on the VMA as well, by the way. But that's really, really cool to see that one connect so well, because it was such a marker in the sound. Like, this is a pop punk song right here. It's for a new school generation, but it's a pop punk song. Why do you think that one in particular has kind of taken off in the way that it has?
When I listen to that song in the playlists of like, you know, like pop punk rising playlists or things like that, none of the other songs had that tempo. So I would assume that hearing some type of, it's like when Ocean Avenue comes on by Yellow Card, and you're just like driving around, you're kind of just like, man, it's a bop, dude. It's just a bop. And it's also one of those songs that I feel like every line is a tweet.
That's true. That is kind of true, to be fair.
Relation just went bad, you know, like.
Yeah, definitely connects well. Yeah, I think we need bops right now as well, don't we? In this kind of time, the bop is absolutely the rhythm we want right there, man. Right?
You know, we need bops and not pop.
Very true. I will back you on that. That's the quote. That's the quote there. I like that. We need bops and not pop. You're so right. You're so right with that one. Man, it's really good to chat to you. One last thing I want to ask, because we're obviously talking to everyone about live stuff. We all don't know when it's going to come back. Of course, we hope it's sooner rather than later. But one thing I have been asking people who are putting out records now, like yourself, are there any moments in particular? I know you've got to play a couple of them live here and there for TV appearances and stuff, but is there anything you are just itching to get out in front of a crowd with? Any songs they haven't heard yet that you just know are going to go off live?
I won a VMA with Bloody Valentine, and I have not performed Bloody Valentine in front of a soul.
Dude.
What in the fuck?
I mean, it's kind of a flex, though. That's kind of a flex. You won it, and you haven't even played it live in front of anyone.
That's actually the hardest flex ever. And I'm also like, just make it a year so that I can just be like, this is the first time we've ever performed this song 1 year later. This is Bloody Valentine. You know, like, but my real opinion is, who the fuck is anyone to tell us what's an appropriate gathering or what's not? Like, I'm seeing all these elections go off with people all through that. Like, are you joking? These fools are puppet masters and liars. Like, fuck you. Like, you can fill up an arena and we can't. Music at least is truth. There's no like lying in it. Like your bones feel it or they don't. These fucking idiots are just like telling us what to believe, and we gotta be, and people are just lining up, standing there and being like, oh, this is okay, but this isn't okay. It's just like, dude, stop listening to these old hairless idiots. Like,
yeah, I get you, man. We need more guidance. We need it more direct. And I really, really hope shows are back soon, because I tell you, man, we want to see you back in the UK as soon as possible to play over
Me
here.
too. I've been waiting to be on this wave forever. I've been waiting to be like, yo, the UK wants like the full force fucking rock and roll brought into their face. And like, they're waiting for certain people to do it. And like, I feel like I've had the blessing because I've been integrated with the UK culture since the beginning of my career. And like, I'm not foreign to being there and being like, oh, you guys love guitars and drums, dude. Yeah. Like, different than America loves them. Like, you guys love guitars and drums. So as a person who just made an entire album revolved around guitars and drums, I'm like, please, get me the fuck to the UK so I can finally give them what they've been wanting the entire time. You know what I mean? Like, from me. So I'm obviously like, dog, like I played Brixton and it was close to sold out. And now I'm like, put me in Brixton so I could sell it out. Then put me in the O2. Like, I tweeted 3 years ago or 2 years ago. I was like, I'm going to play the O2. And I was like, I'm going to do it next year. Okay, didn't exactly nail the timing on it, but I'm going to play the O2 and I'm going to sell that fucking thing out. And now you can quote me.
It's going to go off when it happens, man. I don't doubt you. With that level of conviction and that level of ambition, I do not doubt you will get there, man. Not even for 1 second. Dude, it's really, really good to chat to you. Congrats on the record. Congrats on all the success. And yes, we will see you in the UK when we see you, man. But in the meantime, all the best to you and stay safe out there, all right?
Thanks,